So, hi everybody, and welcome to Thursday at COP26. I think it's day 5 now, and today we're going to be focusing on the energy sector as our deep dive topic. I've tried today to find a location inside the Blue Zone to show you what it's like inside to do the daily update filming. Sadly, there isn't really anywhere to put the camera to do that, so instead we've just recorded a few clips of some of the goings on inside so you can get a sense of what it looks like inside the Blue Zone. But before that, here's all the news from the past 24 hours.
Good morning from Glasgow on Thursday the 4th of November, day 4 of the Glasgow Climate COP26. And we're really seeing a shift of gear now here in Glasgow. The world leaders have departed and all the razzmatazz associated with that has gone for now at least. And actually what you're seeing is the negotiators rolling up their sleeves and actually coming together for the hard graft of the negotiations now. We saw it in the conference centre yesterday, a lot of these kind of contact groups forming where those negotiators at that kind of level actually get together and start talking about the details of the negotiations. And this will be what's happening now for the remainder of the conference as we try and gear up and get some of the detail landed that will be so important to deliver on what's needed from COP26. So that's what you're going to see over the next few days here in Glasgow. Today is Energy Day, and the sort of big announcement that's been trumpeted this morning is a new agreement where over 40 countries have agreed to set an end date for phasing out coal. What's significant about this is it includes Poland and Vietnam and Chile, all big coal users there, and that certainly is significant. What's hugely disappointing about it is it does not include India or China or Australia or the United States, actually some of the very biggest coal users in the world, of course. And you've also got to ask yourself, again, this is the issue that we've said this is the last chance COP to really try and keep global temperatures to below 1.5 degrees. So if you can't even get those countries to agree on ending coal use at this one, we're facing real challenges. And even then, even from the commitments of the countries that have pledged this, the devil of course will be in the detail, and the detail's currently lacking, and the devil will also be in the delivery. And we've just to ask ourselves in this country, just earlier this week we had Prime Minister Boris Johnson say he personally would turn down the new proposed coal mine in Cumbria, but he has to leave it to due process. Well, the point is that government can set policy in which due process operates. And actually, if Boris Johnson changed the national planning policy framework to ban new coal mines here in the UK, you wouldn't get new planning applications for new coal mines. It's as simple as that. So we've got to see that absolute delivery and follow through on these pledges if they're going to mean anything.
So that was the daily update from Craig for the last 24 hours. And now we're going to do a little bit more of a close look at the energy sector, which is the topic for today. And of course, the energy sector is actually one of the sectors across the UK that has decarbonised the fastest. And therefore, the remaining emissions in the energy sector are those not low-hanging fruit, but the sort of harder to treat emissions that we now have to look at as a country. And it's worth, thinking about 21% of CO2 emissions in the UK come from the energy sector, so it's obviously one of the really major sectors that we need to look at in decarbonising the economy. And obviously the wildlife trusts, amongst many other organisations, are looking at how to reduce our own emissions across all sectors, but including within the energy sector. And we have a short video just to show you, to look at some of the work that's been happening across the trusts. So that was great to see that short film, and it really shows, we all have a responsibility to act on these issues. So we're about to hear from Andrea McCormick, who's Head of Sustainability at OVO Energy, about some of the work that OVO's been doing to be a climate-conscious energy supplier.
Andrea, thank you ever so much for being with us today. I was wondering, Andrea, could you tell me a little bit about why the energy sector has such a huge role to play in helping the UK to achieve net zero or reducing their carbon emissions?
Yeah, so I think when we think about energy, it is the major source of carbon emissions globally. According to the World Resources Institute, energy in all its different forms, that's industrial energy use, transport, and energy use in powering buildings, it comes to about 73% of global greenhouse gas emissions. So, it's a good 3/4 of the problem. And when we think about our role as citizens and energy companies within that, we can zoom into where we can start to make a difference, which is in our own homes. That's the part that's under our control. And about 11% of global greenhouse gas emissions globally come from residential buildings. Here in the UK, what's that made up of? It's about 28% emissions from the electricity that we use in our homes, and the rest of it comes from how we heat our homes. And for the majority of people in the UK, that's gas central heating. So some really big challenges as an energy sector that we need to think about.
A quarter of our domestic emissions being from UK households and the energy that we use, and just less than 5% of that coming from low carbon technologies at the minute. So the likes of the renewable energies, that's quite incredible and quite a transition that we're going to have to make.
Yeah, no, very much so. And I think the challenge, particularly in how we heat our homes, can't really be underestimated. It's over 85% of UK homes are powered by gas central heating at the moment. And transitioning that to low carbon heating, things like heat pumps and electrified heat is going to be really difficult. If you take it down to your own level, you think about your own house. I've got a gas boiler in my house at the moment. In order to transfer that to a heat pump, you need to think about changing radiators, how you use heat within the home, insulation. So there's lots of challenges, but that doesn't mean that it should be impossible. What it means is that we need to think of the right solutions that are attractive and affordable for people to be able to make that transition.
So it was really great to see that example from OVO, and big thanks to Andrea for recording that for us. As well as energy use, some of the other actions that you can take in your own homes and in your daily lives to reduce emissions, but also whilst doing that to support nature and to build your resilience to climate change. But on the Wildlife Trust website, you can find a whole set of actions where we've listed different things that you can do and actions you can take to reduce emissions, to boost your own resilience to climate change, and to help nature in doing so at the same time. So that's it from our Daily COP update today. So hopefully that's been interesting for you all in terms of how we can think about the transition away from fossil fuels to a low carbon economy. And obviously our main role whilst at COP26 is to talk about nature and nature-based solutions. But whenever we talk about that, whatever we say, we always have to be very clear that we are not suggesting nature-based solutions are used as a substitute. So tomorrow's episode is on oceans. So we're going to be taking a closer look at some of our marine environment issues around climate change and what's been discussed here at COP26. But for now, that's all from me, and we'll see you tomorrow.